Okay, so I wasn't going to do Bigo Live, but I think I'm going to try it and see how this works. Try it one more time to do both at the same time. So let's try this. Okay. If it doesn't work this time, then I'll definitely do them separately. But I feel like if people, don't come into my boxes and stuff, then I may be able to pull this off. So let's try it. So anyway, peace, love, life, and healing to House of Healing LLC. I don't see anyone in the room as of yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and share the room on Bigo Live, and then we'll get started with the subject matter. And we are listening to 1,111 hertz, and this is to connect us energetically to the universe. Now, we are already connected, but this is to align us. Oh, let me see. Oh, I didn't know I was muted on Bigo Live. So, yeah, Bigo Live. I'm not going to open up my boxes immediately. War Chief, I see you in the building. So, yeah, I want to do like a slight meditation when I go in, and then I'm going to actually give some downloads that I'm getting in real time. And I am live on Bigo Live as well as YouTube, House of Healing LLC. So shout out to both platforms, and I'm gonna go ahead and share my Bigo Live room. And if you are coming in the room, share the live family, and also share the vibe. Okay. So Bigo Live, we are listening to 1,111 hertz frequency vibration that helps align us with the overall vibration of the cosmos beyond the Schumann resonance of the planet, but the energy of the connected, the unified field existing between the planes or the planets, or however you whatever your perspective may be. So I'm always sharing this to the wrong list, but okay, let me find my other people to share this to really quick. So I was going live on YouTube, and I decided to just go ahead and get my little time in on Vigo too. But I don't want, I don't want to talk to anyone as of yet. But I do welcome everyone coming in the room on Vigo, as well as YouTube, House of Healing LLC. I do want to just kind of, this is one of the reasons why I don't mix these platforms, is because Bigo is a little bit more interactive, and with YouTube, I can go on and, be at peace in the moment when I am, um, just giving downloads and like channeling messages, directly from spirit. And so it's a lot easier for me to do that on YouTube. However, I'm trying to integrate both. And so I'm going to try this again with the boxes locked. But if people are in the room, or if you do come into the room, most definitely are welcome to stay. And I will open up the boxes when I'm done delivering whatever messages that I feel that need to come through. I do have a couple of things that I do feel on the tip of my tongue that do need to come through. And what did I name this? No, this is not going to be Narcissism 101 tonight. Let me finish sharing this room, and then I'll change. I'm feeling like this is going to be more of like a mindfulness session. So, yeah, it is 1:51 a.m. where I am. And I'm hoping that I'm coming across loud and clear as well on YouTube. Right now, there is no one in my room, which I actually prefer it that way when I begin, because it is being recorded, so you can always listen to this on the playback. So shout out to the people who will be listening to this on the playback. As we know, time does not exist, and so when you do receive these frequencies and these messages, it will be in divine timing. Okay, so let me share this to a few more people. I know people are probably not up for the most part near in where I am in the world. It is 2 a.m. and some people still work 9 to 5s. So I guess that's enough people. And then let me boost the room. And then I'm just going to put this here so I can see both at the same time. So I don't know what sounds you can hear, YouTube. In my background, we are listening to Hertz frequencies, but my window is slightly cracked as well because it was raining and I love to hear the sound of the rain. So my window is cracked and there is a wind chime outside my window. So you may hear that, as well as the frequencies that we're listening to and everything. When you're tuning in to spirit and you're aligning, everything that you hear, everything that you see, that you're experiencing in that moment is very significant. So that's, one of the aspects of being, awake is being aware of everything that's going on around you and understanding everything to be the voice of spirit. So I'm enjoying playing my bowls. Ooh, I didn't even do that. I'm enjoying playing my bowls tonight for some reason, and I picked up my sacral chakra and the solar plexus because I feel like energetically I do feel that a lot of people are. This is where a lot of people are shifting to, because I do feel that there is a big group of people who have been doing spiritual work and have been walking a very distinct path, are preparing to shift, okay, into a higher level of experience, a higher level of consciousness. So this is, part of the Great Awakening. It is a mass shift in consciousness. So I had a dream the other night, and and it's so frustrating because I know that there were other things going on in the dream, and the other details of the dream are like on the tip of my memory, but I can't pull it up, to the surface. Um, it may come up at a different time, but I do remember the theme of that dream was about a shift, because in the dream I remember a very distinctive shift in my perspective of the way that I was seeing the world. And then I remember telling a friend about this shift, and this friend also confirmed that they had also had the shift. Now, this was the only details that I remember from this dream, but I know that it was very significant because since then, things have felt a little different. So there has been some sort of energetic shift that has happened. And also, it goes right along with my dream about the number 55, which was also indicating that a shift had taken place. And I honestly feel that we are all shifting in our own, at our own rate, and we're all on different timelines because of these shifts, and we're all shifting, like on our own, particular timelines. And so I do feel that I pick up, different people on different timelines when I'm channeling messages, and they are for specific groups of people who are in a specific frequency. So the message that I'm getting for, the people who are experiencing this shift, and you may not even know that this is what's happening. But I do, this is what I can say, is that I do feel a lot of people being tested at this time. And the reason why you're being tested is because you're getting ready to shift. And so I talk about it a lot, but first of all, I wanted people to be clear that whatever difficulties or challenges that may be showing up at this time, um, it is because that it is due to the fact that you are being tested. Okay, so I'm tempted to open up my boxes on Vigo Live, and I will eventually, if I do, keep feeling an urge to do so. If I feel that someone, would like to speak or whatever, um, but for the most part, I just wanted to deliver the messages because I do feel a lot of people experiencing things that they have. These are things that you have experienced before. These are challenges. It's like, I've been here and done this before. So there's a lot of challenges, and the reason why these challenges have returned in whatever way, shape, or form, because for each person, each individual, of course, the challenges manifest themselves in different ways. But the common thing among across the board with everyone is going to be that um, these are challenges that you have faced before. Okay, that is going to be the common denominator, across the board, regardless of the individual circumstances. Okay, across the board, these are challenges that you have faced before. And I feel within the collective that there are a lot of people who are not I don't want to say, I don't know, let me choose the correct words, um, may not be seeing this from the correct perspective, from the perspective that is going to yield you a benefit out of the experience. So I feel like a lot of people are feeling like, because these are challenges that you have faced before, maybe many times before, um, you feel that more like, I'm tired of this. I'm just tired, instead of understanding that this is like the review, right before that final test. And so the review, if you remember from school on every level, the review was an accumulation of all of the lessons that you had taken thus far. Heart Candy, I see you in the building, babe. Stick around if you have time. I'm just really, because I'm on both platforms. I'm on Bigo Live and on YouTube. And so for the most part, I'm trying to stay focused and not get distracted, and go ahead and deliver these downloads. And then I am going to open my boxes on YouTube to talk. But for right now, I just want to stay focused so I can get the downloads out, and then we can go forward. So, like I said, a lot of people are, again, not seeing this correctly. So I want to offer this, this shift in perception. If you can, if you, wish to receive it, is that, to understand that these are tests. And of course, the spiritual tests that I speak of course, are going to appear as circumstances in your life that the divine is expecting you to handle in a certain way, or rooting for you to handle in a certain way, because it's not necessarily about expectations. It's about, it's about the outcome that you want. Like, how do I yield, or the desired outcome? In what way, which aspects of myself do I need to pull to the forefront in order to be able to handle this particular challenge, or this group of challenges, or whatever it is that, um, your final test, before ascending into the next level of experience, um, before this final test, you know what I'm saying? Which skills do I need to pull out? Which aspects of self do I need to invoke at this moment? Because um, you are prepared to handle these challenges, because once again, these are all things that you have handled before. And so it's not like it's new to you. And so if we don't look at it from the perspective of, I'm tired of going through this same thing over and over again. Um, now, I'm not saying not to be tired, most definitely be tired, but let that tired, be even that be seen from the correct perspective, as far as, um, that tiredness be seen as the divine discontent that it is, which means, a quickening in my spirit to change these circumstances that I'm so unhappy with, that I'm so annoyed by. You know what I'm saying? And so, not to just see it as something that I need to sit here and complain about, and not do anything to change, but actually let it be something that, is a catalyst for me to become the catalyst for change. And so, it's about springing into action at this point. But, in order to get the benefit out of what's happening with a lot of people, you have to see this from the correct perspective. Otherwise, you may feel like a victim. You may feel weary. You know, you may feel that you are growing weary in well doing. And so, and by the way, for the Bigo Live people, um, really ain't nobody in here, but for the people who are in here, you will be able to catch this playback on YouTube on House of Healing LLC. So this is being recorded on my other platform for anybody who does come in and misses and missed the beginning of it, which really I didn't start talking until less than 5 minutes ago, and so most of the beginning is just frequencies, and I was playing the crystal, my crystal bowl. So basically I just wanted to encourage people who are facing challenges right now, because I know that a shift has taken place, and for some people, depending upon your individual timeline, a shift may be taking place. You know what I'm saying? And so I know that there are it's not just one major shift in consciousness, but I've noticed that it's a lot of, and I don't even want to say little shifts, but it's like series of shifts. It's not just one shift. It's like I feel like, I had a shift like last week, and then I feel like I had another shift like 2 days ago. And so it's just this ascension is shifting and shifting and shifting because there are different levels. And so that's what's happening. So right now, like I said, I feel like a lot of people are not understanding what's happening. It's not always warfare either, though that is happening as well. Again, a way to overcome even that is to understand what is happening and see it from the correct perspective, and to know that you have the power to overcome whatever may be, appearing to come towards you in warfare. And these are just opportunities to, flex our spiritual muscles. Okay, the muscles and the faith that we talk so much about having. Okay, so a lot of times when we're faced with these challenges, that's what these are: opportunities for us to flex those spiritual muscles, to exercise our faith. But even more than that, um, this is your final test before shifting to that next level of experience that you have earned with all of the work that you have done on yourself thus far. Okay. I am Goddess. I see you in the building. I'm going to keep the boxes locked for now, but I do want you guys to stay, because I am going to open the boxes, but I'm trying to get a little, my downloads in on YouTube real quick and on here. And so I'm trying to stay focused. And so, because every time I try to do them both, it's like I get distracted on Bigo Live, and because it's more interactive than my live on YouTube. And so, so I'm on both platforms, and I'm basically talking about, it's really like, the great awakening in process, the great awakening unraveling, to where I'm very acutely aware of, um, masses of people at this time, right, getting ready to shift in consciousness. And I'm not saying we're getting ready to, because it's already happening. And again, everybody's on different timelines according to the work that they've done and their levels of consciousness right now. But I feel, a mass shift getting ready. I feel like it's already been happening, and it's happening, but the mass shift to even to the next level. In that process of getting ready to shift, people are facing challenges. Okay, challenges that are a grand illusion, if you ask me. But these challenges are basically an accumulation of all of the lessons that you've learned on this level that you're getting ready to transcend, to go to the next level of of experience, the next level of awareness. You know what I'm saying? The next level of power, the next level of love. You know what I'm saying? So in order to get to that next level, which we have already earned, okay, we have done the work. And so basically I was saying that, the challenges that we are facing, none of them are new. These are things that we have already experienced before. And the reason why they are the things that we've experienced before is because it is a review. It is an accumulation of all the lessons that we've learned. And so it's just like, to make sure, it's just like before your final exam, before going to the next grade in school. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that final exam has all the tests on it that you've been taking throughout the whole year. And so this is what a lot of people are facing spiritually right now is, it's almost like a deja vu. I don't want to say deja vu. It's a little bit different, because it's almost like hypnotic rhythm, because, a lot of the challenges that people are facing spiritually right now. And of course, that does connect up with what's going on physically as well. A lot of the challenges are things that people have experienced before, challenges that you have been faced with before, maybe more than even once. And so a lot of the people are looking at this from the and shout out to the people just joined the room on House of Healing LLC as well. um, I cannot pronounce your name, but peace to the person that just joined my room in here on Big O Live as well. Um, but yes, so basically, the challenges that people are being faced with right now, these are challenges that are not new to you. These are things that you have already. Um, oh, prolific. Okay, I like that. I love it. Okay, I knew I'm like, what is this? Okay, I get it. Yeah, I like prolific. Okay, so well, I think was okay. Did you change the way you spelled it, or is this a different prolific than the one that used to spell it in a different way? But anyway, um, so yeah, peace to House of Healing LLC and also to my Big O Live room. So yeah, again, the challenges that people are being faced with now. That's what I thought, prolific, because I remember you. Okay, I was like, is this a different one? But so yeah, a lot of the things that people are facing right now are challenges that are not new to them. They are basically an accumulation of all of the lessons that you should have learned on this level thus far. And so I don't want people to look at it from a perspective that's not going to be beneficial to you. So looking at it like, I'm tired of this, I'm so tired of going through the same thing, I'm tired of that, is not the correct perspective. um to understand what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So though it may seem like the same circumstance, with the wisdom and you know what I'm saying, and the strength and the knowledge that you have, the strength and the power that you've gained since the last time that you faced this particular challenge or these challenges, um, you should be handling these challenges in a different way. And that is the reason why they have returned on this final exam, to prove to yourself, okay, and to the universe that you have really learned these lessons. That's, like I said, just like your final exam. The final exam is an accumulation of every test that you have taken throughout the year, to make sure that you have learned all of the material throughout the year. So that final exam is going to, let's say you had 10 tests throughout the year and all of those tests had 10 questions on them. The final exam is going to have 100 questions. You know what I'm saying? So of course you're going to remember some of those questions, because these are the tests that you've been taking throughout the whole year. And so don't look at these spiritual tests when they show back up as something that you're tired of, and then it causes you to not you know face the challenge for what it is and not to get the benefit out of it. It's actually an opportunity for you to ascend to the next level of awareness and of consciousness. But if you are not even conscious of the fact that the challenge is just that, the opportunity to ascend, it's like the universe presenting a stairway in front of you. And so, the challenge is, am I going to walk up these steps to get to that next level? Or am I going to complain about, I'm tired of having to walk up steps? You know what I'm saying? So it's a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of perception. And your perception is a matter of perspective. Okay? And so, complaining is never beneficial in any circumstance. Complaining only benefits a narcissistic personality. Okay, and they tend to complain out of habit. Okay, so yes, it benefits you if you're trying to be very low vibrational. Okay, but for people who claim to be chosen vessels of the Most High, complaining is very it's a form of ungratefulness. Okay, it's that ugly that God don't like. Okay, and so there's because there's so many things. It's like you can, in the moment, I can choose to focus on all of the things that that I'm unhappy about, that I that that I can, anything that I can think of to complain about. You know what I'm saying? They think about anything that I'm happy about that I possibly could or potentially could be unhappy about. If I can't think of anything in the moment, I'm gonna create something, or I'm gonna bring up something from the past so that I can relive my misery over and over again. Or I can just think about, if I want to change my emotional, my emotional channel, then I can turn on some music to change it. And I can, if I want to change my thoughts, let me make a list of things that I'm grateful for in spite of whatever might be annoying me in the moment. And so it's a choice. And so I say that to say this, um, we need to recognize these people who complain out of habit, who pull us down just by us, merging with their energy. Okay. Yes, they are our friends and family, our coworkers. It's time to clean the house. Okay. It's time to really protect your energy because, again, this is the Great Awakening. And I feel it in the collective that a lot of people don't understand what's happening when they're being presented with these challenges. The challenge, and I mean, I feel like deep down, if you really, if you just sit still with whatever your individual challenge may be. And again, the challenges that I'm speaking of, very specific, for the chosen ones who are being presented with an opportunity to ascend to the next level by, you know, conquering this challenge or this set of challenges, which would equate to your final exam, which is an accumulation of all the exams thus far. So that's what the challenge is. So, the first thing to do is to see it from the correct perspective and not to see it as, a punishment or part of this perpetual loop that you can't get out of. You know what I'm saying? Because the next level of experience, the next level of consciousness is not an unattainable goal. It's very attainable. It's very much within your reach. It's like 11 steps and there's the door. Okay. But all you can see is the steps. Okay. And so that stairway is being presented to you now in the form of these challenges. And yes, the challenges are a grand illusion that you are being challenged to see through. I can't tell each individual how to use, how to navigate their challenge, but I can give you some very core advice, that will apply to each and every situation. Is that, the best thing to use as your GPS system navigating this dark part of the path would be your own heart. Your heart knows the way. But, then that poses the question that, do we even have a relationship with our own, with our own heart? A lot of people are not used to following their heart. They don't know what it means when I say follow your heart. And a lot of people don't trust their own heart, and they can even pull up a Bible scripture to justify them not trusting their own hearts, as if that makes sense. And so I want to kind of explain how the mind ended up running the show when that was never meant to be its purpose. So, especially with, I'm gonna say especially, I don't want to always point out the narcissistic people, because normal people, also share this quality with the narcissist. A lot of normal people share the quality of, having the intellect in the forefront as far as who's going to navigate which part of me, which aspect of self am I going to allow to take the wheel and navigate this reality, And so a lot of people have not asked themselves what part. They just automatically feel like, it should be my intellect. It should be my mind, of course, my brain. I got to be smart. I got to think my way through things. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, when I say follow the heart, it's like I'm speaking a foreign language. And that is because the world doesn't really know love. They don't know where, that which we call God is actually located. They don't know where heaven is located. You know what I'm saying? Is it a location or is it a vibration? I just said something. Is it a location or is it a vibration? Is it a frequency? And is that frequency manifest itself within us as a feeling? Is it butterflies in the stomach? Is it enlightenment? Is it a light bulb in the head? Is it, you know what I'm saying? What is it? And so it requires one to have to cultivate a relationship with the indwelling spirit if they have gotten to the point where they acknowledge that there is an indwelling spirit, and that okay, so first step would be to acknowledge that yes, there is a great spirit. Yes, I can, because you have to talk some people through the steps, and that's fine. It doesn't matter how you get there, you know what I'm saying, as long as you get there. There's no judgment, because we've all been, in dark places before, where we didn't understand what was going on. And so, yes, we first have to acknowledge the indwelling spirit, and we have to acknowledge that this spirit is greater than the small me that I identify with at this moment as the self. That there is a larger, non-physical part of me that is greater than me, and can see my life from a greater perspective, a bird's eye view, from a higher perspective. You know what I'm saying? From a better standpoint. And if I cultivate that relationship, so it's, some people can say, this is your relationship with God. They can say, this is my lower self and my higher self. And they would all be right. They would all be right. Because there's no separation between you and your higher self, and your higher self and God. There's no separation. And so when your mind does not naturally separate things, because you're more of a right-brained person who is more of a heart-centered person, you don't separate things, but you put them together. So this is why you will always hear the unraveler talking about the God puzzle, because I feel that every religion has a piece of that puzzle. Not just every religion, but every walk of life, and every person who has their own set of eyes. Okay, we all have a piece of the God puzzle. And so I don't see the value in comparing and contrasting and then competing and dividing. So I am the divine feminine, forever in honor of the divine masculine, and there is no opposing energies there. We fit together like a puzzle. So allow that shift to take place in the mind first, and understand that we are not opposing forces and energies, but we are complementary. Then maybe we can get somewhere. So the challenges that people are facing right now, and a lot of you, and yes, I'm speaking of this, whatever circumstance that's coming to your mind when I say the challenges that people are facing right now, because I talk to a lot of people, okay, in a spiritual capacity, and I see what's happening. And not only do I see what's happening, I dream about what's happening. I'm shown what's happening. I feel it. You know what I'm saying? All of my senses are on 1,000, and I know what's going on within the collective mind of the chosen ones, and the collective heart. You know what I'm saying? Of the chosen one. And so I don't want anyone to get lost at the last minute. I don't want anyone to give up and you know what I'm saying, to clock out at the last minute, because you're so much closer to that threshold, to that stargate. I don't even want to call it the stargate, because it looked more like a door that you can just walk through. It's not even something that you got to transport through, into another dimension. You can just walk into that other dimension. That's what it's feeling like. And so I don't want people to be discouraged at the last minute, because that can happen. Because, there's a saying that it's always the darkest before the dawn. you know, and that's just to say that, you know what I'm saying, right before, the sun comes up, is that darkest moment. So this is, an analogy to say that, you don't even know how close you are, because, the night, it's been a long night. Say you've been up all night, you scared, whatever the reason why you're still up. Why are you up? But if you're up all night and you're just waiting for the sun to come up, but you've been up for, 12 hours, it may appear because you're tired, because you're emotionally depleted, because you may be hungry, whatever the circumstances may be, it may make you begin to feel that, it's been dark for so long that the next day may never come. The sun may never come up. On many levels, you can begin to feel that way when you've been in the darkness for so long. You feel like, you know what I'm saying, I forgot about the sun. Is the sun even ever coming? And so that, I'm just here for the encouragement to you know what I'm saying, that remind you that the sun always comes back out. It may be a different sun, because you may wake up in a different dimension if you stay the course. And yes, it gets harder right at the end, because you're facing that biggest monster that you always got to face right before you master that level and go to the next level. Okay? And so keep fighting. The way that you're being attacked, and I'm saying that this is a fight with yourself. Okay? Not an outside enemy, but the inner me. Star, I see you in the building. Yeah, I invite you all to stay if you feel that you're getting something out of this. I do have my boxes locked for right now, because I do like to be uninterrupted as I give these downloads. I am streaming on 2 platforms right now. So I am on House of Healing LLC and also on Bigo Live. And welcome everyone to Divine Discoveries. I see you in the building. Some nights it's as though the morning will never come because my mind won't settle. Exactly, Divine Discoveries. And this is what I mean. You can be in that darkness for so long. It does seem like, because for one, you begin to tap into that ultimate reality where time doesn't exist. And you get a sense of it. You get a sense of, time not moving, clocks not ticking. You know what I'm saying? Because it is an illusion. So, sometimes you can be so still in that darkness that you lose sight of the illusion for a moment. And so you start to wonder, well, if time, this is on a deeper level now. Understanding, well, if time is not moving, then how is the sun going to come back up? How is the daytime? How is the day going to come? How, is it ever going to be light outside again? And so, the reason why I'm here is to remind people, this is, for a lot of people, it is the dark night of the soul, which is, a spiritual depression, which is, the time where you can't see ahead of time what's next, what's coming. It is that part of your path that you have to trust in your internal guide with all of your heart. And you have to lean not on your own intellect. Okay? Lean not on your own intellect, because this part of the path requires the light that only comes from within your heart center. You can't think your way into heaven. Your heart must be open. And your first eye, which is referred to as the third eye, must also be open. So it has nothing to do with the intellect at this point. It has everything to do with the intuition at this point and learning how to trust that. So it is the intellectuals at this point who would be having trouble adjusting. Because again, I dreamt the other night, and I wish that I could remember the details of the dream. But I do remember very distinctly that it was about a shift in perception, in the way that I perceived the world. And I shared that, it was literally like I felt like my brain had been flipped around inside my head or something, to where I was seeing the world from a completely different perspective, and it was instantaneous. And then I told a friend about it, and they also confirmed that they had had the same experience. Now I'm still, I just had this dream the night before last, and I'm still trying to figure it completely out. Like, okay, because it also goes along with the dream that I had a couple of weeks ago of the number 55. And the number 55 in a dream means that a shift has already taken place. And I always see the 555, which means change, which I've always talked about, the time of change. So the Great Awakening is absolutely unraveling as we speak. Okay, so I'm having more dreams, and I do want my sensitive people, my people who are clairvoyant and clairaudient and clairsentient, I want you guys to really pay attention at this time, because you are getting downloads, you are getting messages, and some of these things are not for you alone, and it's time for you to begin to share what you have, because again, you're part of the God puzzle. You contracted to fulfill a very specific mission. Otherwise, you wouldn't fit into this puzzle. The chosen vessels of the Most High have been given a very specific job to do. You're not just a vessel for no reason. It's like, okay, if I'm a vessel and the Spirit of God is in me, then what is it using me to do? What did you choose me as a vessel to use me to do? And if you don't know, then this is the question you should be taking into your meditations as you cultivate that relationship with that indwelling spirit. Chosen, I see you in the building. Again, Star, honey, I'm on my way. What does that say? Honey, on my, I don't know, I can't read all of this, but whatever, I'm gonna call you honey. So prolific. Yeah, so shout out to the people in my Bigo room, and also on YouTube. Thank you for the gift. Who just sent me that? I appreciate you, Chosen. You always come in bearing gifts, baby, tenfold back to you. I love the energy exchange. So I'm speaking, about this mass awakening that I feel happening. And I know, a lot of people probably are not able to see it because it is happening spiritually first. And, when I get things, when I get things shown to me in the spirit, for me, it feels like it's in real time, but I am what they call an oracle. So I do get the stuff that's just a little bit ahead of time of when it's actually happening, which is a good thing, because then I'm preparing, for one, myself, and as well as everyone else. So when I see things, it's like it's in real time, but I know it's just a little bit ahead of time, and not, I mean, some things are very like years ahead of time. Like the dreams that I had, they were 20 something years ahead of time. But some of the things, like this dream that I just had, I know that these dreams are telling me what's happening right now. As far as the 55, I knew that was telling me a shift has already taken place. You just haven't seen it yet, because again, it always moves in the spirit first. Ruby Falcon, welcome to the room. And so, you know what I'm saying? So I know it has already happened. So it's like, as it begins to unfold in the physical, that I would not be in awe. I would not be in fear of anything, you know what I'm saying? And I would not confuse fear with awe, and vice versa, because I was already prepared and knew what was happening. And so then, the 55, and then 2 nights ago, I dreamt about this shift in consciousness. And I know there was more to this dream, and I just could not pull it up to the surface of my mind. The only thing I remember is that there was a distinct shift in my perception of the world, and I shared it with a friend, and they had also had that shift, which let me know that the time of change, the Great Awakening, whatever people want to call it, you know what I'm saying, the golden age of enlightenment, whatever people want to call it, the age of Aquarius. There's so many names for what's happening right now. In my dream about the time of change, it was symbolized by butterflies being everywhere. And so, that's why I call it the time of change, because the butterfly is going through that transformation from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And this is the way that my spirit shows it to me. You know what I'm saying? As the caterpillar and the chrysalis, as far as us, and this is how I see it spiritually, is, a lot of all of God's people right now have been set apart. And so you feel very isolated, some of you very lonely. And I hope that, and so this is why I speak about the dark night of the soul, because a lot of people, if you don't understand what part of this path that you're on, or that this is even part of the path, it can be very discouraging. And so I have been through several dark nights of the soul, and I know what it looks like. And it is a spiritual depression, because you feel like you've been doing all the work, and you've been trying to be a better person, and you've been doing work on yourself, and then things begin to happen that don't seem to go along with what I've been doing. And some of us equate that as a punishment, like, I've been working on myself. I've been, anger management. I've been whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever parts of yourself that you've been actually putting an effort to make better, and whatever you've been doing on yourself to make yourself be, stronger, better, and wiser. And then all of a sudden, it looks like things begin to fall apart. When you don't feel that you have done anything to actually cause those things to happen. It happens at a time when I feel like, well, I've been doing work on myself. Things should be going pretty smooth for me. And that's not what happens. Okay. The dark night of the soul is a certain part of the path where you've been doing enough work on yourself to where you can face particular, specific challenges, and you're sat down for a minute and you're made to sit still. And at that time, that's when you're supposed to be cultivating this relationship of trust, complete and total trust with that indwelling spirit. And it's not easy. And so it is a difficult part of the path where, you truly cannot lean on your own intellect, your own understanding. Okay, but this is a time to cultivate inner standing. And, because you're not going to understand anything in the way that you have up until this point. You know what I'm saying? Your whole world and the way that you see the world is being reconfigured right before your eyes. And it takes a strong person to withstand that. I mean, most people don't even get to experience a dark night of the soul. And, so it is a privilege, because it's a rite of passage only granted to those who have done a certain amount of work. So though it's not a pleasant experience, it is a very beneficial experience. And you know what I'm saying? It is a privilege granted to only, to a select few. And so if you are going through one, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say congratulations, but I do want to say that for even reaching that level where you would be trusted to go through a dark night of the soul, because nothing is going to be put on you that's more than you can bear. And so you obviously have enough strength, whether you know it or not. You obviously have the tools that you need to navigate this dark night of the soul. I mean, it basically just requires that you acknowledge yourself as the light that's going to illuminate that darkness. Okay, and then everything becomes clear, because it's really just a period of confusion, not understanding what's happening. What's happening is that you are being unraveled. Okay, and you are being deconstructed and reconstructed, like the Russian Matryoshka dolls that I talked about the other night, or Pandora's box, or the Unraveler's knot. I hope I'm making sense, my people, and not just up here rambling. So a shout out to House of Healing LLC, as well as my Bigo Live room. So I just really wanted to encourage people that, the dark night of the soul can be over, as soon as you acknowledge it. First of all, the best thing that anyone could ever have told me, when I was going through my dark night of the soul, was that this too is a part of the path, that nothing has gone wrong, that you haven't messed up so bad that you can't get back right. Okay. Because all of these things were my thoughts when I was going through my dark nights of the soul. I didn't understand, because I didn't have teachers who had gone before me that were helping me. I was literally following my internal guide. I don't regret it at this point because it made me, extremely resilient and strong, resourceful and fearless. But it was not fun at all. It almost took me out. I mean, I can say it did take me out. I've died several spiritual deaths during dark nights of the soul. And, this is as it should be, because you're shedding these layers like the dolls, like Pandora's box, like the unraveler's knot. It's about shedding all of these layers of yourself that you have, that you're using to actually cover up the experiencer. Okay, the experiencer would be that very last tiny little doll that's in the very center of the babushka or matryoshka dolls. That's in, it would be what's in that very last box. That's part of a set of Pandora's boxes. Okay, it would be what's in the very center of the core of the unraveler's knot. Okay, so in order to get there, you have to remove all of the other layers that are covering it up. And for us, these layers consist of aspects of our identity that may or may no longer serve us as we go forward. So the deconstructing of the self, which is made up of all of these different aspects of self, which cover the truth of who we are. We're at the point on the path where, especially if you're going through a dark night of the soul, where you must allow yourself to be unraveled. Okay, and then you take what's left and you reconstruct, you reinvent yourself. Okay, and have fun doing it. Enjoy this, because this is you being the God of your own reality. This is you saying, I'm going to recreate myself, because we always say, if I knew then what I know now. Well, you know now what you know now. And so given what you know now, allow yourself to unravel and become the God of your own reality. Become your own idea of who you should be, because a lot of us, we have become someone else's idea of who we should be. You know what I'm saying? I should be a wife. I should be a mother. I should be, whatever, a teacher. I should be whatever. We accepted these pre-made boxes that the world put us into. And we became that. It's like, pouring water from the ocean into a cup, and then the water taking the form of the cup to the point where the water believes that it is the cup. You know what I'm saying? So the water needs to remember that it is the water, and that I am, meaning that whatever I name myself, whatever I call myself, I'm giving myself a nature and I become that. So if I say I'm the unraveler, you know what I'm saying? I am that I am, and I came to unravel. What am I unraveling? The mysteries of the universe within you. Okay, I came to unravel the illusion of separation between God and one another. That's what I came to unravel. So the question is for each and every one of us. You know what I'm saying? What did we come to do? What is my purpose? And who am I? Who do I choose to be? Because we no longer have to be someone else's idea of our experience, because you see, I am the only one having my experience. So I don't owe any of that experience to anyone else. I owe myself the full enjoyment of this experience. That's what self-love looks like. It's like, it's not about, not having any consciousness of other people's feelings and experiences, because when you're a naturally a good person and you understand the connection, the unity between you and everything else that you see here, then there is no other person, and you're just naturally, because you see these people as extensions of the self, they are reflections. And so why would I be anything but loving to myself? And so it's more than just seeing, loving the neighbor as the self as a rule that's been placed upon you, as a requirement or an expectation. But it's a natural inclination when you accept that there is no separation between the neighbor and the self. And there is no separation between the neighbor, the self, and God. I mean, if we could wrap our minds around it, that would be great. But your mind can't really accept a concept like that. It becomes a concept to the intellect, but your heart can fully receive it. Your heart fully understands. So if you're having trouble wrapping your mind around some of the concepts that I'm saying, then I would suggest opening your heart a little more, because that is what I'm speaking to, not to the intellect. We're moving out of the realm of the mind into the realm of the heart. So the higher realms are not about thinking and intellectualizing and having the most authentic knowledge. It is about feeling and knowing truth by the way it feels, knowing love and knowing God by the way it feels, knowing another person's energy, frequency, and vibe by the way it feels. It's a different level of awareness. It's a different level of experience. And it's not one that you get to go to without doing the work, without going through certain rites of passage. It is a privilege. It is a gift. And so we have to understand and really see these opportunities to ascend as what they are and for what they are, which is a set of steps being presented before you and you being asked to climb those steps in order to get to that threshold, to the next level. That's all the challenges are. They're your stairway to heaven. And stairs aren't always easy to climb, but they are necessary to climb in order to get to that next level. Now, some levels, once you get to them, they got escalators to the next level. They got stargates and you know what I'm saying, and wormholes and things of that nature, most definitely. But before you can get to those things, your mind has to become acclimated to, the level that's beyond something that the intellect alone can perceive, because intellectuals can't see UFOs. And most intellects do not believe in God, but they fear us just the same. Oh, on and on and on and on. So that's truth. You know what I'm saying? That's facts. And so seeing through spiritual eyes and seeing things from a spiritual perspective requires having an open heart. The stairway that is going to extend before you up to the next level is actually extending from your heart center. So it must open so that the stairway can unfold in front of you. This is what I'm seeing. So what's that song? Climbing the stairway to heaven, going step by step. So the reason why I'm hearing this song, Spirit is real funny, but yeah, the stairway to heaven. So that stairway is lit before a lot of you in this time and space, whether you can see it or not, because you're seeing the stairway as, I'm tired of this. Oh my God, I'm tired of going through this. Yes, the steps look like an accumulation of all of the tests that you have taken thus far, because it is the final exam before you can pass on to the next level. Act like you know. Okay? This is not a situation where our weak self should be speaking at all. We should have taken her out by now. We should have taken him out, right? They don't serve us at all on this journey. They can't come along. And so the weak self should not be speaking at this moment. The weak self should be submitting and listening. The challenges that are being placed before you comprise the steps that you need to walk in order to enter into that next realm of experience. So the attitude to have is gratitude for even having a set of steps to walk. That means you've done the work. That means you made it. So don't you dare give up at this point. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all it takes is for you to take that final exam. And just like everyone, when there's a final exam, yes, you are nervous. But you did pass all of the other tests, which is why you made it to the final exam. And so everything that's being presented to you on this final exam is something that you've already seen before. All of the challenges that you are being presented with are challenges that you may be tired of, but they're not new to you. You faced these before. So there should be no fear in your heart, and there should be a lot of strength, a lot of wisdom, and a lot more power than you had the last time that you faced these challenges. And so what are we complaining about? What are we talking about here? Because I talk to a lot of people and I'm telling you, you guys are not seeing this from the correct perspective. What are we complaining about? I'm tired. I'm tired, but let me remind you that time doesn't exist. So stop going around in circles and doing the same thing and perceiving that you are stuck in time. I'm hearing a stitch in time, but I'm not even going to go into that right now, but I will return to that subject matter, the stitch in time. But again, these challenges are representing themselves as your final exam. So of course, you're going to recognize some of the questions on the test. Instead of complaining about it, think about the last time that this was presented to you. And what did I do wrong? And what do I need to do right this time? So the stairway to heaven is a spiral staircase. So yes, you will appear to be going around in circles, but you are also ascending vertically as you go around. So you're not going around on a ground level, but you're going up a spiral. So yes, you may see some of the same questions on the test that you took in the first 10 tests that you took, this particular semester. I recognize all of these tests, these lessons, these questions on the test because they was on the other tests that I took. And this is just an accumulation of all the tests. I got to pass this one and then I'm going to be on the next level. Okay. So this is where you are. Yes, it's hard. Everybody, the final exam day, I got to get some rest. I can't go out. I got to make sure I eat whatever I'm going to eat for breakfast. I got to make sure my mindset is right. Make sure my chakras is aligned, all of that. Okay. And so that's what's happening right now. A lot of you are just having your final exam. And so the advice is to stop complaining, to reach into your tool bag because you have much more strength, power, and wisdom than you did when you took these tests before and get it done. It's not like you were not prepared for the tests. You were more than equipped to conquer this last monster to get to that next level. So I don't want to stay on too long tonight, but I do want to say that, my advice once you get to the next level, because I know that you're going to get there. I see a lot of you walking up the steps right now. So my advice is, how to navigate this level once you get here is always choose on the side of love, because you're always going to be being presented, even as you walk up these steps, you're always being presented with, a choice that is being presented to you by your intellect, and then there's a choice that's being presented to you by your heart. And we know which is which, whether we want to acknowledge that we know the difference or not. And then there are those who don't know the difference because, for whatever reason. But the advice for those who are aware that you are being presented a choice by your mind and you're being presented a choice by your heart, always follow your heart. Because a lot of the choices that are being presented by your mind, whether you're aware of it or not, because a lot of you are not aware, that the choices that your mind is presenting to you are all fear-based choices that are being presented in order to keep you, quote unquote, safe from all of the danger that your mind perceives to be out there. Now, this is not a bad thing. It is it's an act of self-preservation. It can be seen as acts of self-love, but we can't equate love with fear. And so when we really unravel what really, these actions are being motivated by, what energy is driving the choices that I make based on my intellect alone. The choices that your mind are going to be presenting to you are all going to be fear-based. So just think about it. And, how could it ever benefit you to move out of fear? So if you feel like there is a benefit to fear, you're not ready to walk up this staircase yet. And that's okay. But if you understand that fear is not of God and nobody on that next level has fear in their hearts, then you understand that you must purge everything that you fear out of your heart. So, we're at this part of the path where it requires very honest self-evaluation. Honesty with self about, whether I'm aware that I'm playing myself by deciding, to go with my mind over my heart, but I'm still going to do it though. Because, honestly, it takes a very strong person to be able to, say, I'm gonna follow my heart over my mind, because we live in a world that was constructed by the mind individually and collectively. And, there's so much respect put on, the intellectual. And so to be the one who goes against the grain and say, I'm gonna listen to my heart over my mind. And it's not necessarily the one over the other, because again, they are complementary. But I do feel that love, first of all, within the self, is a connection between the heart and mind. So self-love would be the connection between my own heart and mind within myself. And I do feel that love is submission. And I feel that in my own form of self-love that I need to, my mind needed to submit to my heart, because the mind is what's going to build and help me to manifest the desires of my heart. And so in this way, they work together, they're complementary, and everybody wins. So, within the individual self-love, there can be no cognitive dissonance, meaning your heart and your mind must be in alignment. Because see, your heart knows the truth of who you are, regardless of what traumas that you have faced, what damages that you think that you have gone through. Your heart knows the truth of who you are. But your mind, however, may have forgotten, because your mind is what received and held on to all of those traumas. Your mind is what experienced the trauma, the pain, and all of the things that began to shape those outer layers of the Matryoshka dolls, the babushka, the Pandora's box, and the unraveler's knot. This is how the knot began to become a knot, because, a trauma or something happens that is too overwhelming for the individual. And so the individual begins to create alters and other personalities and other aspects of self that are able to deal with that. And then the truth of who this person is gets lost in the dolls, in the boxes, in the knot. And so healing looks like unraveling the knot. It looks like deconstructing the boxes or the dolls. And the truth of who you are would be that very last little tiny doll, which is the dreamer. And all of the bigger dolls are the dreams that the dreamer is having. So again, it is indicative of a dream within a dream within a dream. Hence the Great Awakening. So yes, there's a lot of us that walk around and we feel like we woke and we woke. But do we realize that we need to be woke? It's a dream within a dream within a dream. So we're never, I'm not going to say never, because I don't believe in unobtainable goals. I do believe that goals are obtainable. But we are not as woke or as awake as we believe ourselves to be. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because wow, there are even greater, even more vivid, more tangible levels of reality to experience, because where I am right now, I'm loving it. Like, I know that I am beyond what, and it's not about a race or a competition, but I just know that I'm experiencing a lot of things that a lot of people haven't yet to experience, because of the leaps of faith that I have taken in my life, because of the courage that I have had to do a lot of things that a lot of people will not do. You know what I'm saying? And so it was, I could have looked at the things that I have gone through and said, why me? My struggles is harder than everybody. I could have complained and felt like a victim and all of that. But I've never been that person. You know what I'm saying? And so I absolutely appreciate all of the benefits that came from me being, brave enough to withstand levels of pain that I know most people would, could not withstand. Me being willing to accept, brutal and harsh truths, and just, you know what I'm saying, just actually dive into experiences that I knew that were going to cause me to grow, but I wasn't sure that I was going to live through. Okay, but I still did it. And so being on the other side of it, I don't regret any of it. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like I needed to have those deep levels of sorrow and things that I experienced so that I could have the levels of appreciation for simple things that I have now. You know what I'm saying? Had I not gone through sorrow and being, starved of love and attention and deprived and feeling unheard and unappreciated, unseen, and all of these things, I wouldn't appreciate small things like being listened to. You know what I'm saying? Feeling seen, feeling respected and heard. Those things bring me great amounts of joy that a normal person don't get. Okay, so imagine what love feels like to me. That's heaven, and it's more of a tangible feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally feel when love is real, and it's real as an alternating current and a frequency between me and my a baby, a grandchild, whatever, anything that you love. You feel it. It's a very tangible energy that permeates the whole atmosphere, and it consumes you, and it has colors and it has a texture, and you know what I'm saying. So it's a different dimension of love. It's different dimensions of all of the sensual experiences. And so I want to speak a little bit about that. And then I'm going to go because I don't want to be on here too long and too late. And because I do want to try to come back each night and speak a little bit. But a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that, you know, this spiritual experience, well, let me use the correct word. So we talk a lot about being a human being having a spiritual experience, or a spiritual being having a human experience, and or whatever. um yes, this is true, but the thing is, we're not supposed to be separating these two things. We're not supposed to separate the spiritual being and the human experience, but we're supposed to be bringing these together as much as possible. So, I've met people that say, I'm trying to get to the point where I don't even need to breathe. I'm trying to get to the point where I don't even need to eat. Okay, I think that's a bit radical, because I think that, we're supposed to be having a spiritual experience. We're supposed to be having a human experience, but we're supposed to still, it's like bringing that spiritual and human experience together, bringing heaven and earth together within the experience of being human, meaning that I identify with the self as the spirit. That is the true identity, meaning that is that babushka doll, that is the very smallest doll. That's the truth of who I am. Okay. And then those are the other experiences that I'm having, are what have added these other aspects of myself onto me. But if I was to unravel, if I was to deconstruct, I would go back down to the core of who I am, because that's really the one who is having all of these other experiences. So the doll, the smallest doll, is the one who is having the experiences, and all of the bigger dolls are the experiences that he or she is having. And so instead of identifying with the experiences as being who I am, I'm identifying with the one who is having the experience. So I said this to say that is that I say that to say this. We're not supposed to be trying to spiritually like transcend being physical, because this is what a lot of people seem to think that we're supposed to be doing here. Like, let me completely get to the point where I don't need to eat or breathe or anything like that. I'm just floating off in the atmosphere as part of the atmosphere. But the experience is really to be fully here, be fully in the present moment. This is where all the power lies, to be fully present spiritually and physically, so that when I am eating, because I enjoy eating, I don't it's never been a goal to ever become what they call a breatharian, where I'm living off breath alone. I mean, that's not having life more abundantly, in my opinion, but to each their own. So when I am eating, I want to make sure that all of my senses are in on it. What does it sound like when I bite into my apple? Okay, hence the ASMR channels that are on YouTube, they understand about all the total sensual experience of being human. When I taste this honey and I put it on my tongue, you know what I'm saying? The experience of sweetness, you know what I'm saying? And what does it feel like on my lips? And you know what I'm saying? Is it warm? Is it spicy? Is it, all of these things are sensual experiences that we are supposed to be allowing our spirit to have while using this body. But a lot of people tend to think that the spiritual path is about trying to transcend the body. And it's not. It's about being fully in it. It's about, smelling the flowers, smelling the coffee, enjoying, the experience of hugging your babies. You know what I'm saying? Kissing your babies, kissing the person that you love, making love. You know what I'm saying? That's what the experience is about. It's not about getting to the point where I don't need to breathe, okay, and I don't need to eat. I mean, what is the point of that? You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to transcend the human experience, okay? But we need to understand that the indwelling spirit came that we might have life more abundantly, meaning that you're not just going through the motions and, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of people, but you're having a very deep, very vivid and colorful, sensual experience. When you feel love, it's tangible. You can see it. It's golden. It's twirling. It's swirling around within your solar plexus. And you can feel it when you exchange it with another person or with a plant or with an animal. Okay. Your experience of love is different. Your experience of eating an apple is different. The sound is magnified. The juice is juicier than ever. It's sweeter than ever. Your tongue is tantalized. And I love the way the color is just so vivid and beautiful. And you know what I'm saying? You're allowing your spirit to use this body to fully enjoy this experience, not to pervert it, okay, but to fully enjoy it and appreciate it from a higher perspective. And so I want to get more into that when I come back. I'm not going to stay. Let me see how long I've been on here, you guys, because ain't nobody sending me no beans. Thank you guys for the beans. I've been on here for an hour and a half. It's 3. Okay, so I can come back. So this is what I'm going to do, because I don't want to have too long of a YouTube video, and I am streaming on both platforms. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and shut this live down. It is 3:13 a.m. But when I come back, I am going to speak more about having life more abundantly, because I do feel like a lot of quote unquote spiritual people misunderstand the whole point of spirituality. And so I want to talk a little bit more about that. And I think I may open up a rabbit hole and open up the panels. Open up the room on that if anyone wants to speak on it, because again, it's not about completely transcending the physical experience, but it is about enjoying the physical experience on a much deeper level. And so, this is why we have the 5 senses, and some of us more than 5. And this is why the spirit has chosen to inhabit a body, so that we can have life more abundantly and so that we can enjoy it. So we're not supposed to be sitting here trying to just sit up meditating for 30 hours a day. Okay. And, that's a thing. And that's, meditating is, has its place, but everything, there's a time and place for everything under the sun. And whatever it is that we're indulging in the moment, let us be fully present in that moment, so that the indwelling spirit is having a full experience. Okay, so let us not have our minds in one place and our bodies in another, but let us have our full self, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, all in one place. And this is alignment, and then your experience is going to be much richer. Your experience of kissing someone that you love, your experience of exchanging energies with someone that you love, your experience of holding and loving on your babies and your children, or of planting something and watching it grow, or of building something and watching it develop, of creating or inventing something, being creative and bringing something, making something out of nothing, even of just making bread, or taking a walk, can be very sensual experiences that we can have more abundantly if we fully bring ourselves into alignment mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally while we're doing these things. And so I really want to dispel the myth about trying to transcend being physical, because we are a spiritual being having a human experience. Yes, we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And I say, allow that spiritual being, the indwelling spirit, to fully have this human experience. Okay, and not to be trying to transcend it before you fully descended into it. So it's really about being present in the moment and fully enjoying every little nuance of the experience that you are having. It's not about trying to meditate your way up out into another dimension before you fully allowed your spirit to experience this one using the body. Okay. And so I'm just going to leave it at that for the moment, my people, but I will be back and I will go deeper down the rabbit hole on the subject of life more abundantly and what this actually means, because it definitely does not mean becoming, a breatharian or a person who doesn't even need to breathe. I mean, we can be a bit radical, but then I'm open to, for suggestions, and I'm open to discussion on that as well. My mind is very open. So my mind is not completely made up about these things. But as far as, the breatharian and the whole, I don't need to breathe thing, for me, though, those um, lifestyles do not appeal to me, but to each their own. For me, I feel that I'm here to enjoy life more abundantly and be fully in alignment physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And so, though all these other bodies may be in alignment, I want my spirit to be fully in alignment with this physical body so that I'm having life more abundantly. So I'm really smelling the coffee. So I'm really seeing the color and the essence in these flowers, in these herbs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really seeing the beautiful spirit in this other human being that is inhabiting. You know what I'm saying? That this spirit is inhabiting. I want to fully be here and have life more abundantly. And that's the reason why, what I'm saying, we have this relationship with the spirit. And so at this point, for a lot of people, this is the time where, we have to have enough trust in that indwelling spirit to allow it to actually take the wheel. And there's going to, of course, be that internal dialogue that takes place between your mind and your heart. And of course, the world is going to say, you better think about this. You better, you know what I'm saying? But your heart is going to say, just come this way. This is how you feel. What are you being drawn to? You know what I'm saying? Your heart is, because I'm also going to talk about magnetizing yourself and how this is done. Okay. And the heart literally draws to it the things that it desires once you have successfully magnetized yourself to be able to do this. But it requires a very, that alternating current to be running between the heart and the mind within the individual, and then to connect with other individuals who have this level of love that is they're being a conduit for within themselves. So the first love that we must have, your first love should be the self. And that connection between your own heart and mind, and your own heart and mind coming into agreement about the way that we're going to operate together and no longer in cognitive dissonance, but one is going to submit to the other so that the entire being has the experience that we came here to have. The intellect should not be given its own autonomy, but it should be brought under submission of the heart, because the heart is where the great spirit lives. And it is the desires of the heart that the mind should be working to bring forth. And so spirit knows best, but ego stands in the way. Exactly, divine discoveries. And so it's about now putting ego in its proper place. It's not necessarily about doing away completely with ego, but, it is about knowing where ego belongs. You tell your ego to get in the back seat. You know what I'm saying? You come along for the ride, and I'm going to show you the places where I need you at. Okay? But the heart from this point on is going to take the wheel and lead the way, because the ego doesn't even know the way. You know what I'm saying? So instead of allowing the ego to waste our time, put your ego in the back seat and allow your heart to take the wheel. And then you can chill, because you are going to get to your destination. You know what I'm saying? Your heart knows the way. It is the GPS. And the way that you follow your heart is that you don't allow your intellect to talk you out of experiencing something that you are being drawn to. You know what magnetism feels like. It's something that you wish to experience, regardless of what the world says, regardless of what anybody else got to say. Your heart is saying, I want to experience this. And so don't ever deny your heart. You know what I'm saying? And then so, it's either, there's going to be a lot of circumstances where you're going to either be asked to play yourself, you know what I'm saying, by denying your own heart to please the world, or you're going to be asked to say F the world right now, and I'm going to, because no one is having my experience but me. So why should I care what y'all got to say? So, it's really about, are you going to play yourself? Or are you going to honor yourself? Or are you going to, conform to the world? Because, our advice was never to conform to the world, but to be transformed by a renewing of the mind, by thinking new thoughts and therefore doing new things, not what everyone else is doing. And so you have to not be afraid to be the one who is doing the new thing. You have to be the one who is actually helping to renew the minds of others. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what it's about. I mean, we can sit here and think about what we want to do and talk about it, and but at this point, um it's about, either I trust my spirit and I'm going to take this leap of faith into this next level of experience, or I'm going to allow this final exam to overwhelm me to the point where I'm just going to go back into hypnotic rhythm, and I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing. So are you going to conform to this world, you know what I'm saying, and stay in it, going around in hypnotic rhythm and with history repeating itself? Or are you going to allow your world to be reconfigured by allowing yourself to be transformed by renewing of the mind? And that is the question. I will be back, because I do want to again go down the rabbit hole on the subject of having life more abundantly, and a couple of the other things that I brought up during this live. But I am going to do that in a separate live, because I do want to separate these YouTube videos as well as the times that I'm actually going live on Bigo Live. Tonight I was just trying to get hours in, and get some downloads recorded at the same time. So I do appreciate you for stopping by, everybody. Definitely appreciate you, Chosen, always coming by, showing love. Ruby Falcon, I Am Goddess, I think I saw you in here earlier, Prolific, and everybody that stopped by. I do hope to see you guys in the next live, and I do hope that you guys are ready to be interactive. Again, tonight I didn't really want to open the boxes, because I did want to get these downloads out on YouTube as well. So I'll be back later on both platforms, but at different times. Okay, so let me shut down my Bigo Live, and then I'll shut down YouTube. Let me see if you guys have any comments. Okay, so yes, Divine. Spirit always knows best, and our ego is in the way, and that is represented by that devil and the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. And of course, what the devil is telling you is going to be something that seems easier. It's going to be a cheat code, and it's also going to get you effed up. And so don't take the devil's advice. You know what I'm saying? Heal the long way. You know what I'm saying? Earn things the long way and do things the right way. And so, yes, the angel's advice is going to seem like it's going to take a lot more work, but it's also going to yield a much greater benefit. Okay, so I will be back later. I always appreciate you, love. I see that you've joined the family. And so just stay tuned. We got some stuff coming up for you. And I encourage everyone else to also join the House of Healing LLC family. We will be having some behind the scenes stuff coming up, and also to the Patreon members as well. I have not forgotten you guys. We just been moving around and expanding, and now we're bringing everything back together as the God puzzle. So until we meet again, peace, love, life, and healing, and I will see you guys next time.